Hey folks, Suzanne here with Real Lady Adventures, and thank you once again for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about something that I think gets overlooked a little bit, or at least we don't pay as much attention to it as maybe we should. And that is, what do you bring with you when you go to the range? Now, you might be going to an indoor range or an outdoor range. The weather could be cold and rainy, it could be hot and dry. So you need to take all these factors into account when you're packing your gear and getting ready to head out the door. So stay tuned and we're going to take a look at that. Okay, so the first thing you want to look at when you're heading to the range is, what is your plan? You definitely want to go in with a plan, especially these days. You don't want to just go in there and blow off a bunch of ammo, which right now means blowing off a bunch of money. So go into it with a plan. Have a specific skill or a couple of skills that you want to work on that day and have that ready. You know, maybe you're looking for trigger control or grip and working on that. So, you know, some targets like this can be really helpful. Now, some people love these targets, some people hate them, but they're very, very helpful for a lot of people who are working on specific grip and trigger control things. Maybe you're looking on getting your sights on target better, in which case, you know, something like this can also work really well. You can move from one spot to the next in whatever order you want to go and work on getting your sights on target. Maybe you're working on holster work, in which case you want to make sure that you have your holster and a proper belt with you. So whatever your plan is, have that ready to go and have that mindset before you walk out the door and walk into the range. Now let's talk about gear. So when you're first starting out, you don't need to have a great big decked out range bag to take with you. Honestly, when I first started years ago, I had this. It held one, maybe two pistols, a little bit of ammo, a couple of basic tools. That was what I had. Now, this is my guest range bag. So if I'm bringing somebody to the range and they don't have their own equipment, I've got extra eyes and ears in here, extra foam plugs, just some basics, some lead wipes, things that a guest can use when I take them to the range. After this, I moved on to this bag. Now this one served me pretty well for a number of years. It has zipper pockets on each side. Each pocket can hold 1 to 2 pistols. The inside had this great big huge separated compartments. I could put my eyes and ears and ammo and some extra little tools in there. Again, just some pretty basic stuff, but it was enough to get me by for a couple of years. Now, this bag is my cleaning bag. So this bag just holds all my cleaning supplies. I've got lubricants and cleaners and tools, all the things I need to clean all my guns when I do that. So that was number 2. Now, the range bag that I use on a regular basis for both indoor and outdoor is this backpack. Now, I did a lot of research on these. This may not be the last range bag that I ever own. It probably won't be, but this is the one that I've been using for a while now, and it does a lot of things for me. This main compartment is probably the biggest thing that I love most about it, and that is that it's got 3 separate pouches for 3 pistols, and the best thing is that each pouch has a place for the pistol and the magazines that go with it. Now, there are a lot of packs like this that have this same type of setup where you've got different pouches for each one of your pistols, but all the magazines go in a different compartment. And if you've got multiple 45s or you've got multiple 9mm, You pull out your firearm, and then you've got to go hunt and figure out which magazines go with which gun. That's no fun. This way, I just pull one out and everything is in there, all set to go. So that was my favorite thing about this pack. So I can take this to indoor or outdoor ranges. The other thing that's in here, so obviously when you go to the range, you want to bring your firearms. You want to bring the appropriate ammunition. So in here, this top pouch, I've got lots of space for lots of ammo. Ears, ear protection, eyes. This might seem like kind of a big case for eye protection. I have prescription lenses, and so I've got 2 sets indoor and outdoor lenses for my eye protection. Now, some other things that you want to think about when you go to the range, and again, indoor or outdoor, you want to be prepared for whatever might happen. I've got a few extra tools in case I need to adjust something on one of my firearms. I've got small screwdrivers, I've got an Allen wrench set, small flashlight, pen and pencil, and a notepad. Again, if you're doing any kind of drills or practice, have a notepad ready or somewhere where you can write down notes of what you've done, what you need to work on some more, what worked, what didn't work. Then you can go back and review that later. So then the next time you go out to the range, you've got some notes to go by. What do you need to pick up? Where do you need to pick up from where you left off? What do you need to work on some more? So that's always great to have. For reusing targets, some people bring the little stickers so you can just sticker over all of the holes in your target and keep going. I also like to use a red marker. So I will mark the circles where, you know, I've done one round, and so when I go and I shoot the next round, I can see where I've adjusted, where I've gotten better, or what have you. Lead wipes. I love these little individual packets. These are Lead-All. That's one brand. There are other brands out there, but I like to have these handy. Sometimes you can't get into wash your hands right away after you go to the range, which I highly recommend. And so it's good to have those lead wipes with you. On that same note, if you are going to go wash your hands after you get off the range, use cold water and soap. Hot water opens up the pores in your skin, and all that lead dust can just be absorbed right in. So use cold water and soap to wash all that lead dust off when you're finished at the range. Now, real key, first aid. You want to have a first aid kit with you. Now, I know a lot of folks are really big into range first aid, which things can happen. People can get shot. It can be a dangerous place and accidents can happen. You know, so we've got things like trauma packs, tourniquets, all those kinds of things. But 9 times out of 10, the first aid that you're going to need on the range is going to be a Band-Aid or some antibiotic cream. So you always want to make sure that you have a basic first aid kit with you as well. Now, it's nice to have all of these other big first aid things if you are properly trained. So that's another thing. Make sure you're properly trained in the use of these tools before you try to use them. But I'm pretty sure anybody can use a Band-Aid, anybody can put on some antibiotic cream or some burn cream. Things happen at the range, especially outdoor ranges. You fall and skin your knee, or you're racking the slide and you get bit. That happens. Trust me, that happens. So make sure that you have a basic first aid kit with you as well, with just the simple things, Band-Aids, antibiotic creams, those kind of things. So those are some of the basics for when you're going to the indoor range. What about the outdoor range? Well, you'll probably need all of this same equipment, plus maybe a few more items. So when you're going to an outdoor range, typically you're going to need some of the same equipment that you bring to the indoor range, but you might need some other things as well, like a cart or some way to transport all of your gear to the shooting areas if they're not right by the parking. I use this, it's called a Zuka cart. It was originally designed for folks who play disc golf or whatever that game is. But a lot of the gun community has really latched onto this, and there are other options for them now that make them really friendly for outdoor ranges. So, for starters, they've got these great all-terrain wheels that can get through pretty much anything. We've got that Texas red dirt out here, so I also put the fenders on it. Just helps keep that dirt at bay a little bit. It's really super sturdy and heavy duty, so this top part is actually designed for someone to sit on. So even somebody much larger than myself can sit on this comfortably. If you're at the range, and maybe if you're there for competitions and you're just waiting out the time for your turn, you've got a great seat to sit on. They do come with little seat pads, or you can buy seat pads to go on them. I bought the saddlebags, which also have kind of a cushioned seat on here, and another one pouch for, again, more lead wipes, arm braces, just whatever random gear you need over there. This side is a thermal bag, which is great for cold drinks and snacks, especially if you're out on the outdoor range. You want to stay hydrated. You don't want your blood sugar to go down. Keep some snacks and drinks handy. It's got a great front compartment. Again, first aid kit, holsters and belts. The bottom is super sturdy also. You can put lots of ammo down there. This thing can carry a ton of ammo. And then I just carry my regular range bag. It just sets right on top, and that's what I put these bungee cords on here so I can just strap that right down for whenever I'm out on the outdoor range. So a couple of other things that you may want to consider when you're going to an outdoor range are targets and target stands. Now, some outdoor ranges provide these for you, but a lot of them don't. There are a lot of do-it-yourself plans online where you can make your own target stands. They break down easily. You can throw them in the back of your car or your truck, but make sure you check with the range that you're going to first. If they don't have target stands available, you're going to need to bring something. Another thing to keep in mind with outdoor ranges is how are they set up? Are the shooting areas kind of far away from where the main office is? If that's the case, you're going to want to have some sort of emergency plan. Now, we don't always want to think about these kind of things, but we really should. So if you're out at an outdoor range and the shooting areas are far away from the main office and not easily accessible, either go with a buddy, which is always a good idea anyways. If something happens to one of you, the other one can call down to the office or can call emergency services. So again, just a couple more things to keep in mind if you're going to an outdoor range, especially if it's one you've never visited before. So we've talked about the gear you're going to bring to the range, whether it's an indoor range or an outdoor range. Now we need to talk about what you're going to wear. Now, I'm not talking about dressing up and being a fashion plate at the range. I'm talking about dressing for safety. So obviously we've talked about wearing eye protection and ear protection. The eye protection obviously is going to protect your eyes from having flying hot brass coming back at them. But there are a couple of other things that you can do to protect yourself from that flying brass. One of them is wearing a high collared shirt, because not only can the brass fly back and hit you in the eye, it could actually go down your shirt, and that will burn. That hot brass on your skin anywhere is not going to feel good. The brass can also fly back and lodge between your glasses and your skin. So that's another place that you need to be careful of, and a simple cap can help alleviate that. So the brass flying back can bounce off the brim of the cap and bounce away, keep it out of your eyes, out of your glasses, and also out of your shirt. So again, just a couple of things to keep in mind for staying safe from that flying brass. Another thing that you want to think about are some good solid closed-toe shoes. Now, you don't have to wear big boots or anything, even simple tennis shoes, but you want something with a solid surface, something that's not going to slip, and something that is closed toe, especially for the outdoor range. If you're out in rocks and dirt and stuff, you don't want shoes that you're going to be slipping around in. So just a couple of things to keep in mind as you're dressing to go out to the range. And of course, if you're going to be at an outdoor range, dress for the weather. If it is super hot and dry, think about it, because sometimes a long sleeve shirt might actually be better for you than a short sleeve shirt, even if it's hot. You want to protect your skin from the sun. Again, you know, any of the elements that are out there. If it's cold and rainy, dress for that, but you don't want to be so bundled up that you can't maneuver your firearms. So just a few more things to think about as you're getting dressed to go to the range. Okay folks, there you have it, range gear. So we talked about indoor gear, outdoor gear, what to wear, and gave you some ideas on what to do in case of an emergency. So think about these things, gather your gear together, maybe recheck what you already have. And if you have other ideas of things that I didn't talk about, maybe things that you carry in your gear pack that I didn't touch on today, share that below. But definitely, either way, like, comment, and subscribe, share this with your friends, and thank you once again for tuning in. Until next time, enjoy the adventure.